What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Visions of the Force. My name is Kyle, your host. Welcome back to Project Potter, guys. This is our Disney Plus Star Wars Visions review. It is a very quick recap, a favorite aspect, a favorite character, and a score out of 10, guys. If you've seen the reviews before on the channel, similar format, but these are much quicker. These are kind of mini reviews, so this is episode 4. Thank you guys for checking out the channel. If you do like the content, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing. Go check out the other content on the channel, of course, and here we go. So this one, guys, it starts off, and I've begun to realize that a lot of this Visions, whether I like the episodes or not, is just based on animation style and animation preference. So, for example, guys, this one, I absolutely love this animation style. I wasn't crazy about the last one. I adore this style, dude. I would watch any anime in this style. So, we kick off with a forest, and we're on this like kind of quiet planet here, guys, and there's a guy who's wearing like a bucket on his head, but it's like some sort of like a almost like an Iron Man mask that comes up, except it's a little more strange, and he's got like this strange device where he's like almost like looking for like gold or something, and he's in the forest, and we're like, what's going on here? And then a girl comes down. He goes, "Oh, I'm so glad you finally made it to the planet." And she's like, "What about the Empire?" And he's like, "The Empire's eyes will not see you here." I was like, okay, interesting. So this is kind of like maybe like a master apprentice type of deal, but they obviously know each other. And then she's like, "Okay, well, what did you want to show me?" And he's like, "Look." And then over there, what's really great about this episode, guys, is that we have a couple subplots, and it's really, I was very much into all of them. So the first one we see this young boy who's like got this woman. He's going Death Stranding over here, dude. He's got his presumably bride on the back, and he's carrying her just like Sam Porter Bridges' baby in Death Stranding, and he's going up this hill, and it's really awesome because it's just like this really cute, like loving vibe, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going back there?" And it reminded me of like any anime that I've seen growing up, where it's like they have this friendship or this bond, or in this interest, this like romantic like best friend vibe, where it's like the group of the most lovable anime characters, you feel connected to them right away, and it's like that's how I felt with this episode, where it's like these just two strangers, where he's hiking her up this trail, and she's like, "Oh, I'd rather walk," but she's like, it's lovely back here, and he's like, "Well, we can't get your shoes dirty." He's like, "Not where we're going." And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So they go and they kind of follow them, and then they go over to like this giant rock, and they both put their hands on there, and they say, "I am the sky, I am the forest, I am one," or something like that. And then he repeats it, and they're like, "Awaken." And then like this blue energy comes out. I'm like, oh, this is the force, obviously. And it goes across, and then it shows like they call it the planet's memories, which are amazing, dude. Like, so cool. There's talk about how the planet is stripped of the resources by the Empire, basically, and we'll get to that in a bit. But this shows the memories of them as children, and this is kind of, I guess, to set up that they've been like childhood sweethearts, and they've loved each other from, day one, where they were best friends or whatever. And they're like, there's a cute scene of them like making a trail for the fish in the river, where they put the rocks there, and then the kind of the woman that's watching with the guy with the bucket, she says, "Oh, that's the planet's memories." I'm like, wow, that's, again, just an amazing idea, dude. Like, I don't know why we've never thought of that before. But basically everything like crumbles down there, and so they look over, and it's crazy, because I'm like, did they do something wrong? But we get back to that in a bit. We find out that there's a group of raiders or rebels or Empire, basically, that are coming, and they've stripped the land of all the resources, and they have this village under siege, and basically there's a wedding that's happening, but the whole village knows that like they're taking the bride tomorrow in place of her father or her chieftain or the village chief or whatever. She's like sacrificing, she's like volunteering as tribute, basically, I think, for the village. So it's really cool. But they're at the outsider, the woman, and then the master bucket guy or whatever. Should have a better name for him, but it's okay. And we do see his face too. He does take up his thing, and he talks to like the village people. They go to visit at the wedding, and then this guy, there's a great scene where the guy has like a jug, and he's pouring them like wine or whatever, and then he's like, "This drink isn't strong enough." And they're talking about, they basically find out what's happening, where they say like, these raiders have pillaged the land, and they take someone and like to sacrifice, or like the bride is volunteering so that her village will be safe. And so they're all like kind of pissed off, like, no, we can fight back. And they're like, no, there's no hope. Like, they took all the battle droids here. The Raiders came and reprogrammed all of them, so they have a full army. They're like, we can't fight them. Like, we can't do anything. And how many times have we seen in Star Wars where it's like a village that is trying to do the right thing, or they're being like pillaged because they don't have any fighting power? Someone comes in to save them. So we kind of follow along those threads here, but I think they did a really good job of kind of having an original story, their original take on it. So her sister's speaking out, and her sister's like, no. She goes, what kind of wedding has mourning? And I'm like, great line, dude. And she's like, there's a group of us that are going to fight back. And her sister's like, no, I've made my decision. She's like, you're just going to get hurt. There's no sense in fighting them. She's like, I'll go with them, and then my village will be safe. And so it's that girl and then that guy, and they're an adorable couple, guys, let me tell you. I guess the point is that there's like a clearing where the woman goes over, like the woman that landed on the planet, she goes over in the forest, and there's a really cool scene where she's like using the force to hold this rock up, and they call it like the magnate or something. I forget what they call it, but they call it something, and they're like, oh, you can feel it too. And the girl walks over, the bride walks over, and she's like, yes. She's like, I know we'll be safe, because the bucket guy tells her like, these people are very in touch with the planet's resources. It's really, really a cool idea. And she's like, you know what? I'm not going to be alone. And then it's like the boy comes over, and like her husband or fiance or whatever, and then they hold hands and they like go off. And it's a nice scene. The Raiders come the next day. They show up, dude, in their ship, and everyone's like worried. And of course, it's like a couple guys, and then there's like one really cocky guy that's like, they're like, all right, come on over. And he's like, I hear you are coming with us. And she's like, yes, I am. And he's like, oh, great. He's like, that way we can use you as leverage so we can avoid confrontation. But he's like, just in case, I'm going to sweep everything. And then they like take her sister captive, and it finds out that she had like a thermal detonator, so they were planning to like bomb the ship. And then he's like, that's it. There can be no exceptions. And he goes to like shoot her sister, and she's like, no, please. And then it's like he fires it. It cuts to black, and dude, we get an awesome scene where it turns out. Also, guys, sorry, I'm kind of cutting myself off here, but there are so many beautiful shots in this episode. What we see right before that is the woman that we know. She's got a mask on. The guy, her master or whatever, I think it's not her master, but I think it's someone she knows. He says something like, that mask doesn't suit you. So she actually takes the mask off, like the face covering, like Ghost of Tsushima style. And she cuts her hair. It turns out she's got like a scar under here. So I don't know if she was like a former villager or what happened there. Something happened. She has like a quick vision of like a red lightsaber going across when she's like looking at the sky, and she's got a cut on her. So it's presumed that she had like some sort of bad experience with the Empire or the Sith or whatever. This is awesome because we cut back now, guys, and we get the shot reminiscent of the Force Awakens shot where Kylo Ren stops the blaster at him, and the evil guy is sitting there with the gun, and he's like, what's going on? Impossible. And behind them, dude, behind the couple, because the sister, the bride, is like crying. She's like, no, it's what the princess bride, the Jedi. She's got her hand up, dude, and she stopped the blaster, and then she throws it into the guy. And it's fucking awesome. Like, I had full goosebumps, dude. They start fighting, and he's like, what are you, some kind of monster? And then she goes, no, I'm a Jedi. And she fucking lights that lightsaber up, dude. And I wanted her to say, like, my father before me so bad. And that's the only nitpick I have of this episode, is that she didn't say that. But the buckethead guy, he's got a sniper up top there. And so he starts shooting the battle droids one by one, because the guy's like, kill them all. And I'm like, bro, this Jedi's going to fuck you up. Like, I don't know what you're trying to do here. So they start shooting at him, and then he gets up and he takes his helmet off and he throws it, and the battle droids are like, oh, he's out of ammo. And it's the Roger droids, but they're a little bit cooler, but they're still annoying and dumb. And so he throws the helmet, and then it's got like a rocket in it, and it flies right into the ship, which is actually the Millennium Falcon, which is great. So really nice little take on that. They've like commandeered it. And then it would have been cool to see like Han Solo as a bad guy. That would have been awesome, but that's not his character. But this is also a different world. It's really cool because it blows up the ship, and then like the fuel and stuff starts leaking out, and it takes all the droids out. So they basically take them down. The evil guy, like holds a gun to one of the villagers or the sister again or whatever at the end, and he's like, what are you gonna do now or whatever? And dude, it cuts to her leg, and she like puts her leg up and she like activates something like super. She's got like Sonic shoes basically, and she fucking swoops in there, dude, and it cuts, and then she's just doing like her superhero pose. Oh my god, she took him out. She sliced him up, dude. It's amazing. It cuts to black, and then they like have a quick scene after where she's like flying away, and she's like, we reveal her scar, and they're like, thank you so much. And she gets in her, I think it's an X-wing. She gets in there. It goes up there. She drifts into hyperspeed, and that's how the episode ends. Okay, guys, favorite aspect of this episode has got to be the sense of journey in this episode, where it's like, man, it's just so awesome that we can tell that our protagonist, our Jedi, our unnamed Jedi, she came obviously from either from this village or from something. She had a bad experience. You're kind of left to the imagination because these are so short. It's like we're getting hints at something that happened, but you're left to build your own story. When the village bride and her fiance came up, when he's carrying her up there, like I said, immediately I connected with those characters, dude, and I was like, oh, like that's the journey. Who knows how long he's been doing that, but he's so dedicated to her where he's like literally pulling her up on his back, going to this sacred stone so they can like activate the planet's memories. Maybe because they've like everything else has been pillaged and they just want to remember like the good times. I don't know, but it's really awesome that they're like, this village is so in touch with the planet. Just that sense of journey and the discovery, and something we haven't really touched on in Star Wars before. I thought that was all so awesome. And definitely my favorite part of just like we talk about the Force being like this entity, and like the Force is all living things, and like it's really, really cool because it touches on a different part of the Force here. And so they don't have Jedi powers, but I would have like, I don't know, it's just a different aspect that I just really enjoyed, and I thought that was my favorite part of the episode. Okay, favorite character, guys, for this one, it has to be our badass woman Jedi, dude. Oh my god, she was so cool. You didn't know what type of, character she was. You figured she was good, but, it's like he says, the mask doesn't suit you, and she's almost got like an evil mask, but she cuts her hair, because she's been hiding maybe from the Empire, and then for her to step up, for her to save it, oh my god, that was so cool, dude. I had full goosebumps on that scene when she was like, I'm a Jedi, and she fucking lights that lightsaber up. I was like, oh my god, it's so good. And like, anytime that you get a hero that's standing up and saving people against like a formidable foe like the Empire, it's just so good. Like, I don't know why, it's just awesome to see them stand up against like hate. And it was awesome and mysterious and cool. And I like how she kind of had a teacher, but she kind of did her own thing too. And the teacher kind of knew that like she was going to do the right thing, so he just had to push her a little bit. There's mention of her having a code, and so maybe she doesn't get involved with this stuff anymore, but she obviously like breaks the code to help out and save a life. So the Jedi woman was just awesome and easily my favorite character. Okay, guys, that brings us to the score. If you can't tell, I absolutely love this episode. I was enamored with this episode. I know I gave the opening episode a 9.8. I love that style, and that was really cool. This is a different style. I think I have to put this one ahead of it. We're going to give this one a perfect 10, guys, because honestly, thinking back at it, I didn't really dislike anything about this episode. Like I said, the one nitpick I had was that she didn't say like my father before me, but that's me just being a fanboy. The fact that they're super in touch with the planet, that's a different story than we've seen. They obviously have some connection to the Force, but they're not like a Jedi. They don't have a lightsaber. So this village who's been trying to fight back, finally has like someone to stick up for them. The Jedi, awesome. The Master was awesome. What was he doing with that like device thing? I don't know. This episode gave you just enough to like make your own stories. It was so awesome, and I thought the animation was absolutely beautiful. There were some genuinely beautiful shots here. And so last week I talked about how I didn't really like the animation, and I kind of took away from it, or it looked kind of not low budget, but just different. This week I absolutely adored the animation. I thought the dialogue was great. I thought the action scenes were awesome. It was just enough. The Master Padawan sort of storyline too was in there, and it's just like, man, I adored this episode. I think this is the best one so far, and I would watch it again in a heartbeat. Okay, guys, that's it. That's another episode of Visions of the Force. Thanks for checking out Project Potter, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys liked this episode as much as I did, because I loved this episode and this This is sort of like Marvel's What If series, except for Star Wars, and some of them have been hit or miss, and some of them have been awesome. So I'm really glad that we kind of got back on track here, and like this is what the show could be, and it's really, really, really cool, dude. I really like that we're gonna get kind of 9 different views on things, and so far it's been 2 that I love and 2 that I don't care for as much. So we still have 5 more episodes to go. I'm excited to see what else is left here, but appreciate you guys. Check out the channel. Until next time, guys, may the force be with you.